Okay, so we're going to take the first few minutes of the practice to just come into the space. So yin is traditionally a very still practice, but I definitely encourage movement if that feels right. And the first few minutes of the class, I definitely encourage movement because it's just going to help you to come into your space. So you can sit, you could lie on your back, you could come to all fours, and just start to take a few breaths in and out through the nose, in and out through the nose and mouth, and just start to release the day, release the week so far. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what the offering will be tonight. So this can be as simple as just, sitting still and rocking side to side, or lying on your back and rocking side to side. Again, if you have a little more energy in the body today, you could do things from tabletop or, even more traditional standing poses, stretches. So and if the body doesn't want to move, if the body wants to be still, then allow that too. But just take a couple of deep breaths in and out and let yourself arrive. So that's one of the big qualities about yin yoga, is that we are turning inward. Yin is one of the yielding elements. We're turning inward. We're really noticing what it feels like to be us right now in the world, in this first few days of this new year. And so as you take this next few moments and just move and breathe, or, if you want to stand up and do jumping jacks, there's a lot of energy moving in the world right now. So whatever can kind of help you just to come into your body, start to let go of anything outside of the space. Because this practice today is not only working with the physical body and the breath, and that's always the relationship in a hatha yoga practice in any physical style. We are really wanting to start to tune into the energetic anatomy, the energetic system. We're beginning about a 9-week journey working with the chakra system. Chakra is a Sanskrit word. It means wheel. And while the chakras are used in a lot of different traditions, in the yogic tradition, we talk about it being 7 main chakras that move up and down the spine. So the 7 main chakras that connect from the root, the base of the spine, to the crown of the head. And it's a system. So the chakras are all part of a system. We are a culture that often likes to individualize and focus on symptom. And while we will be going through the chakras individually, it's really important to acknowledge that they work together. And just because you resonate more with one part of the body, one element, or you struggle with one, that often doesn't mean it's specific to that. It may be something that's happening, in another part of the body, another part of the system. And so tonight is a really gentle introduction to this flow of energy. We'll be working kind of like with a pose for each chakra, just to start to feel into the space. And then over the next several weeks, we'll focus on one at a time with their unique element, their unique energy. And then at the end, we'll do another full practice and kind of bring it all back. So if you're doing any kind of movement that's circular or asymmetrical, make sure you balance that out. And I just want you to start to breathe up and down the spine. So if you're newer to yoga, that may be like, how do I breathe up and down my spine? It's an intentional movement. As you inhale, imagine the energy, the breath moving from the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, from the crown to the tail. And if there's a movement that maybe helps you to do that, like a cat-cow, feel into that. Or if you're sitting still in meditation, or even if you're lying on the back, just feel the energy of the spine. So you can move your attention up and down the spine. These channels, or nadis, is how we refer to it in yoga philosophy. And then in the Taoist philosophy, which is part of Yin's embodiment, talks about meridians. And while the meridians and the chakras are not exactly the same language, they are the language of energy in the body. And as we unlock the chakras, we do open up the meridian lines. And so just breathing up and down the spine, releasing again any excess energy. And then wherever you are, take a big breath in. Imagine bringing the breath all the way up to the crown, and then pause. Open mouth, exhale. Feel yourself get heavy in the low belly and the legs, rooting towards the earth. And then again, inhale, lengthen up, breathe, draw the attention all the way up to the crown of the head. Open mouth, exhale, root down, empty out, let it go. One more time. Inhale, draw the attention all the way up to the crown. Open mouth, exhale, everything down, ground closer to the earth. And then over the next few breaths, come into child's pose. So if child's pose isn't available, lie on your back and hug your knees to your chest. You can do this with or without props. So if you would like props, what I recommend is a blanket under the knees. And then either a bolster pillow under between the thighs, under the torso, or something under your head and chest. So I like to have my knees wide, big toes together, sitting back on the heels. You can lower your forearms down, especially if you maybe have a baby belly in the way. And then you can just relax the forehead. You can stack your fists. You could get a book or block and lower the forehead here. One thing I've been doing a lot lately is putting the block under my chest. That actually connects to some of anxiety points. So if you're feeling a little anxious, under the chest, forehead down. And just start to breathe here. So feeling into the energy up and down the spine. If you need to be on your back, you can just hug the knees in. You could also just hold your hands behind the thighs so the elbows come down and breathe here. So this is very much like a child's pose. And if you want a little more comfort, take a pillow between the arms and legs and hug it. You can kind of hook yourself here around a pillow or bolster on the back. This is a receiving bug pose. So take some breaths. And we're just going to kind of tune into the chakras in this position. So when we hold the poses, keep the breath flowing. If the body needs to move, then move and see if you can come back and then settle a little bit deeper. And so bringing your attention to the base of the spine. This is the root chakra, the Muladhara, the red earth, our survival, our ancestry, our container, our physical support, the tailbone down to the toes. This is our root chakra. And then as we feel into the sacrum and it wraps around to the low belly, into the pelvic bowl, the organs of reproduction, the genitals. This is our second chakra, the watery orange Svadhisthana, the sacred abode of emotion, intuition, sensuality, and sexuality. See if you can soften through your hips, your pelvis. See if you can soften through these first two centers. And then as you climb up from your sacrum into the mid-back, we enter the third chakra, the wheel of the Manipura, the shining jewel, the yellow fire chakra, of action, of humor, of drive, of independence. And this connects to the organs of digestion and also the abdominal muscles that protect our integrity. And so settle, let the vertebra in the mid-back, low back all relax. And then from the mid-back, climb up into the upper back and feel out not only into the shoulder blades, but how it wraps around the ribs, protecting the physical and energetic heart and lungs. The fourth chakra, the center of the system, the air element, the green anahata, the unstruck heart. And this is not only the upper back, ribs, physical heart and lungs, it's the chest, the breasts, and all the way out to the fingertips. This is our chakra of love, compassion, forgiveness, also grief. So just sense and soften into this space. And as you're softening the whole spine, the hips, the feet, just notice your throat, your head. Depending on your position in child's pose, you might rock the head a little bit or turn your head to the other side. Moving into the fifth chakra, the Vishuddha, the blue chakra of spaciousness, of sound. This is the neck, the smaller vertebra of the neck, the throat, thyroid, parathyroid, ears, jaw, mouth, teeth. This is the blue chakra of communication, expression, and also deep listening. This is the perfectly purified chakra, the bottleneck that moves the ethereal energy into the material and vice versa. As you relax your mouth, your neck, your throat, feel into that space between the eyebrows. And again, you can rock your forehead a little bit in your child's pose, softening your eyes, your eyeballs, your eye sockets, relaxing the sinuses and feeling that space between the eyebrows that is cultivated in so many meditative traditions. This is the sixth chakra, the Agnya, the command center, the intuitive perception. This is our pineal gland. This is what basically tells us our reality. And this is a very important chakra to be resetting right now, our perception, our trusting of our intuition and vision. So relax your eyes, relax your face, and finally bring your attention up into the crown, the back of the brain, the pituitary gland, the seventh chakra, the Sahasrara, thousand-petaled lotus. This is the violet or gold and white. This is the chakra of expansion and liberation and inspiration that opens us up to the cosmos, to spirit, and then also allows us to funnel down into the rest of the chakras. And so as you take just a few more breaths in your child's pose, or however this has evolved for you, again, just feel that cyclical breath moving up and down your spine. And just notice which of these centers maybe draws your attention, or when I referred to certain qualities, what drew your attention. And so as we move through the practice, the next poses will be more specific to the individual chakras, but just pay attention to the breath. Keep the breath flowing through the system. So moving up and down from root to crown, crown to root. Take another big breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Now you're welcome to stay in child's pose for the root chakra, but otherwise you may want to come off the knees, and we'll do the one standing pose I ever do in this class, which is a rag doll. So from child's pose, you can walk back to your feet, toes pointing forward. And then in some traditions, you bend the knees, release the hands, and literally just like a rag doll fold. You can use props. I'm a big fan of props here, stacking things up so that you can comfortably either stack your forearms and place the forehead down, or just have a place for the forearms to rest, palms face up. And then soften the knees, let yourself rock a little bit side to side. And again, you're welcome to use blocks under the hands, under the head. If the feet come closer, you're going to feel more sensation in the calves and the hamstrings. And if the legs are further out, that might soften. So yin is all about edges. We move from the softest edge to the most sensation we can comfortably hold while keeping the breath. So we are sort of diving into the big muscles of the root chakra. This is a very grounding pose. It opens up the whole back body. The root chakra is, again, the tailbone down to the toes. So soften the knees. You can move here by rocking the hips, bending the knees, shaking the head, or just let yourself come to stillness. And so the yin poses will be held between 2 and 4 minutes tonight. But again, if at any point the body needs to do something different, listen to that. Coming back to child's pose is always an option. So imagine here the 4 corners of the feet like roots, even imagining a root coming from your tailbone down into the earth. So how grounded can you be here? How much can you allow gravity to release the back of the body? Dumping out the contents of the brain. This also brings an awareness of the root to crown. And it's a mild inversion. So if you feel yourself getting dizzy at all, just lift the spine up halfway or use a chair. And just breathe. Just breathe into the legs, imagining that we are waking up our root support, our connection to the earth, to the body, our security, our safety. Very common when we're feeling anxious or unsafe for the hamstrings to tighten up. So feel your feet, the balls of the feet, the heels, feel your toes. And just take a few more breaths. And again, any rocking, shifting that feels good, or just still keeping that breath awareness, root to crown, crown to root. Deep breath in, open mouth, exhale. Can you let go a little bit more? Releasing any stuck energy in the root, feeling supported by the earth, by your own feet. Over the next few breaths, we'll start to shift down to our seat. So our next pose for the second chakra, kind of keeping a little bit of a root focus, will be butterfly. So when I call out the poses, it's because I just want to put that out there, and then you can take your time to get there. So for some of you, you can round up and then come down. Others might like to transition through all fours or a down dog. So take your time. As slowly and groundedly, I'm not sure if that's a word, as you can, though, we'll come down to our seats. And a seat might look like sitting up against the wall. It may be sitting up on a blanket or a pillow. And butterfly is Baddha Konasana in Sanskrit. I like to put blocks or blankets under the thighs. Make sure you're up on the sits bone. So the idea is that the chakras are a system. So as we move through these poses, we don't want to lose the relationship to the other chakras, okay? So we're keeping the feet pressing together. We're keeping the support in the legs. And then we'll lift up, and then we'll hinge from the hips into the fluid space of the Svadhisthana, the second chakra. So again, as before, you can shift forward, palms face up, and just surrender here, or make this sort of a juicy hold. You can get other props and stack them up. Again, maybe allowing the forearms or forehead to come down. You can rock here a little bit too. So if the low back is feeling tender at all from the forward fold, you're welcome to bring movement. So the second chakra is water, and water energy is not frequently still. We definitely don't want it to get stagnant. So whether you're holding your butterfly or there's a little bit of fluttering, of pulsing, again, we're connecting to water. This is the sacred abode. So the idea is that we establish a strong, safe container, and then we have this chalice to hold the sacred waters of the womb, or the energetic container of the womb. And that has nothing to do with a gender construct. The chakra system, certain chakras are associated with masculine energy, some are feminine energy, but again, we all have that, regardless of how we identify in our bodies. We all have masculine and feminine elements. And so the root chakra is considered masculine because it's active, it roots down. And then the second chakra is considered feminine because it fills that container, it moves, it draws us inward. And again, this is the home of intuition, sensuality, fertility. This is our feeling chakra. This is the junk drawer of the emotions in the chakra system. And so very important to be sensitive. And when we do our second chakra week, there'll be all kinds of hip openers and kidney openers. But for today, we're just dipping our toes in the waters of the sacred abode. And you might notice that you're able to kind of come up and over and go a little deeper. Again, we keep that container, the feet together. Breathing, this is the orange chakra. So I like to imagine the ocean at sunset, or even something like fresh squeezed orange juice. Something that's fluid and juicy. Take a few more deep breaths here. And you are welcome again to stay in any of these poses longer, or if the body needs to move out more quickly, then just do what feels right. Again, we're moving closer to our own authentic self in this practice, slowly moving through our active outside roles and responsibilities and just being where we are, who we are today. And even again, feeling that more subtly through the energetic anatomy, feeling who we are in our second chakra today, right? If you haven't touched into the second chakra today, what is it like to be in that watery space of the low belly, the hips, the sacrum? Take another breath in and then let it go. Slowly lift up out of your butterfly, and we're going to keep the right leg in half butterfly, and the left leg is going to open at a wider angle. I'll shift my body a little bit. So again, we don't lose the connection to the roots or to the hips as we widen the left leg and we start to move into the side body for the third chakra, the Manipura chakra. The Manipura chakra is often connected to fire and aggression, but it's a yin practice. So we're going to explore it from lengthening the side body and creating that flexibility of fire. So you can either just take the left arm down the left leg and reach up and over. The right hand can come to the hip where it can reach up overhead. More supportive options include putting your pillow or bolster on the left leg, and you can even catch your head with the left hand. The right hand can stay on the right thigh, or again, playing with that top arm. Those of you who want a little bit more of that third chakra power, the left hand can come to the right knee and then reach the right arm up and over. So there's a little bit of a twist as we come up and over. The third chakra is fire, it's action, it's aggression, it's also humor and play. So it's kind of like a 2 or 3-year-old, right? Who they stand in their power and they're like, mine and no. But when they laugh, it's like the purest sound in the world. That's the third chakra. Some chakra experts say that as a culture, we're stuck in the third chakra right now, trying desperately to move on up, but we'll see how the week goes, the year goes. But this is the organ body, the organs of digestion, the pancreas that has to do with sweetness, how we digest sweetness. And this is the core. So a lot of times third chakra is like, no, I'm going to do all kinds of core work and sweat, but we also want balance. So when we open and lengthen the side body, we stretch the abdominal muscles, we create space. So soften the jaw, and relax the face. This is our golden yellow fire center, the solar plexus, the mid-back, the digestive organs, the pancreas. Just breathe deeply. And again, if at any point you need movement, you are welcome to kind of find a little, side body rocking, a little bit side to side, or again, whatever you need to do. And sometimes in yin, when we do the longer holds, and they're actually kind of minimal tonight because we're trying to get through all the chakras. Sometimes if you feel like you need to come out, sometimes just doing a little bit of movement will allow us to drop in. But if you feel any kind of sharp or shooting sort of sensation in the body, then you definitely want to come out. But still breathing up and down the spine, Relax the face, relax the shoulders. Take another big breath. And exhale, just see if you can let go, if you can let some of that fire energy just disperse. And then to transition, you can for a moment walk your hands forward and just take some breaths through the center. And that's going to bring us back a little bit into the root and into the head. And just kind of let go. And then take your time. When you're ready, we'll switch sides. Just be very sweet as you draw the left leg in and the right leg out. Taking your time, there's no rush. Again, just offering the shape since I know we're kind of all moving in different ways and different practices. So this side could be different. This side might be more open tonight for whatever reason. Or you might want to be more supportive. And so just feeling into the other side of our half butterfly. Into the side bend, or even again, adding the little twist. And I should have mentioned this on the other side, but the extent like you can have the foot flex, but we don't want to overly flex. So one of the things in the physical practice of yin is that we don't want to fire up the musculature, because if the muscles get hot and active, then they protect the joints and ligaments, which is what they're supposed to do. And in yin, we actually want to bring healthy stress to the joints and ligaments to strengthen them, which will then support the musculature. So just notice if you do have a yang practice, if you're going into like heavy flexing, and if you're doing that because it's too intense, then just back out and breathe into it, because you're not going to get all of the benefits. And so opening the heart and the chest. Feeling into the side body, into the core. So there is a little bit of belly drawing in, right? Like there's a little bit of core awareness when we do side body work. Because it really does, the core holds everything together. And so we're opening and we're extending, but we don't want to overextend. So that's the power chakra. The third chakra is our power center. And again, healthy power is the goal, not power over, not power under, power with, and healthy power. And that does start within our own body and our own energetic system. The relationship we have to our will, to our humor, to our play, to our drive, to our independence. The root chakra is the collective. The second chakra is the intimacy, the kind of one-on-one relationships. The third chakra is the me, my right to act, my right to do. Take a few more breaths here. Just feeling the sensation of the Manipura, the shining jewel of the chakra system. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Can you soften through the side body a little bit more? And take your time. If you've been in the side body opening, or maybe one of those deeper versions, you may just let yourself kind of roll through the midline and pause there. And then again, no rush, just, stay aware of my voice. When you're ready, you'll come up. We'll gather the knees in. And again, maybe you rock or shift or do any kind of movement. Our next pose, which will be for the heart, we'll do Anahatasana, which is the heart opening pose, the pose named for this chakra. So I'll go ahead and show that. If you know it, you can make your way into it. We do come from all fours, and I can give you I'll give you an option if you can't be on the knees. But once again, we pad the knees. So similar to child's pose, you can, again, pad the knees. Knees are under the hips, and you are welcome to do any movement here. But then we draw the sits bones towards the ceiling, and we walk our hands out. And as you walk the hands out and stick your hips up, we can start by placing the forehead on the mat, and then letting the forearms come down. So this is different from child's pose in that we're not pushing back into the hips. We're focused in the upper back. So the sit bones reach up towards the ceiling, the arms extend out, the forehead comes to the earth, and you can lower your forearms. The belly draws in, so again, we don't lose the connection to the core. The belly draws in, the hips stay stacked over the knees, and the feet are consciously pressing into the mat. So a couple options here. If you want to go further into the Anahatasana, you can grab blocks or a bolster and dig your elbows into it, bringing your arms and your hands to prayer. So this will often intensify this pose. So elbows bent, hands in prayer. If you can't be on your knees, you will come back up to stand, take the feet at least as wide as the mat, if not wider, and then walk your hands out as far as you can, and maybe using props as well. So you're creating that same movement in the spine. It's a little bit less in the upper spine, but you're not putting that weight on the knees or as much in the wrists and shoulders. So that's an option as well. But otherwise, coming into your Anahatasana. So this is the heart, and isn't it always about the heart? So much happening in the heart chakra. It is the midpoint, it is the center of the system, it is the air element, it is green, it is love and compassion. This is the chakra of breath, of pranayama. So breathing is one of the most important practices for the heart. And so as you're here, can you connect to your breath? Again, if you've lost that flow of breath, connect to it now. And again, noticing your fingers, feel your fingers on the earth. Again, your hips reaching up. And just soften through the heart. And this reveals the back of the heart as well. So oftentimes the back of the heart is connected to our past hurt, past grief. And so breathing into your heart, into your lungs, your physical heart, the energy all the way out through your fingertips. This is the thymus gland, again, as well as the lungs and the heart, the ribs, the shoulder blades, all the way out to the tips of our fingers. And keep the breath going. Soften your face. How much can you soften and yield into the heart? Anahata means unstruck. And I always thought that was a really weird name for the heart, because like, what gets struck more than the heart? You know, you turn on the news and it's like strike, strike, strike. But what that means though is that somewhere in the energetic heart it's always intact, right? Like it's always whole. It feels like it's broken, it's struck, but that innate heart, that spiritual heart is always whole and vibrant and there. Take another big, big breath in. Open mouth, let it go. And then very carefully take your time, roll yourself up. You can come into child's pose or just sit back on your heels. So I do want to invite you to get a bolster or a couple bed pillows or couch cushions, basically anything that is firm and is essentially the length of your chakra system, from your crown to your tail. So a couple bed pillows, or even taking blankets And we would fold them into sort of that long rectangle, like a long rectangle, and stack up a couple of those. So for the fifth chakra, we're going to take a twist, but this is a very open, supportive twist. So you can take your bolster or your pillows or your blankets to the center of the mat. Make sure you have something just to support the hip. And then we will bring the right hip forward. And you can stack the knees, maybe putting something between them or top leg behind. And I'll turn in a second, but I want to show you the bolster. And then lifting up. So again, opening up, keeping the heart open. And then we twist up and over. And as you walk down, you want to turn your head first to the same direction as the knees. And then through the practice, we might play with turning the head the other way. So just kind of gently bring awareness to the neck, to the throat. And the fifth chakra is about purification. So as we move up in the system, there's less poses to explore because they're more energetic. And this one, like I said, this is the bottleneck. This is where we release the material and open to the ethereal. Another option too is to have the right foot rest on the left thigh. So this is deer legs. And then again, bring yourself up and over. So again, playing with how you're turning the head, softening the jaw, and then Jessie, you can just kind of push the pillow out a little bit so that belly stays open. So you just, as long as the belly doesn't feel like it's, the front of the belly isn't pushing into the bolster, it's fine. Or if anyone else is pregnant, this is a twist that's safe for pregnancy. You just kind of have to find the sweet spot because it's an open twist. So as you settle in and find a comfortable position for your head and neck, go ahead and connect to a little bit of sound. So as you inhale, exhale out a sigh, or exhale out a groan, or do something like, right? Like just allow a little bit of sound or vibration. So the fifth chakra, Vishuddha chakra, the chakra of expression and communication, of listening. So a lot of people talk so much about the fifth chakra as like my right to speak, my right to be heard. And that's so important. And so many people are oppressed in their voice. And at the same time, this is also the chakra of deep listening, deep listening. So the heart is between the belly and the throat, right? So the idea is that we bring our power and will to the heart, and they feed into each other. And then at the throat as well, we're speaking from love, we're listening from love. There's like a direct connection between the mouth, the ears, the throat, and the heart. And then again, that's why you see the chakra as a system, right? We feel supported, and then we're safe to be emotional and sexual. And that emotional, sexual energy connects us to our power, and then we're able to take action and stand up. And then we move that into our love and our devotion, and then we express ourselves. I mean, it's this beautiful system of symmetry and aliveness, but it's easy for things to get blocked up. So just noticing this side of the neck. Again, sound is the primary tool for this chakra. So chanting, singing, humming, and then again, conscious silence. Being in a room where there's silence, where it's dark, just being with your own thoughts. So take a few more breaths into this side of the twist. And again, just notice sound. Feel free to get out any sighs or anything that needs to come through the vocal cords. So the thyroid, the parathyroid, and the voice box are also part of this chakra. And it is sky blue, like the most perfect desert sky. If you've ever seen the sky in New Mexico or Arizona, places like that, where it just, that blue sky goes on forever. That to me is the color and the spaciousness of the fifth chakra. Take another breath. Exhale out a little bit of sound. You know, or swearing, whatever needs to come out of that. And then take your time to switch sides. So again, if you want to move through the center and do something symmetrical, or just kind of roll up and over to the other side. Just moving consciously. Relax the jaw, the face. And still feeling into the support of your legs, the softening of your pelvis, the energy of the solar plexus, and the sweetness of the heart. And just start to let the neck release. So we're twisting out, we're wringing out. So Vishuddha, perfectly pure, purification. We're wringing out anything we don't want to bring up into the higher chakras, and also purifying the channel to bring down. So again, play with having the head one way, and then maybe take a couple breaths, move it the other. Again, totally fine if it doesn't work and just one side feels better. And then maybe play with a few, exhales that bring sound. Sighing, humming. If you have chanting, you could always, let out a few chants. We will be working with the bijas and more specific tools for each chakra over the next 7 weeks. We go through them one at a time. But it's so important to recognize them as a system. And even if you're not planning on being here the next several weeks, that's fine too, because we always can use a chakra tune-up. If you have not had a chakra tune-up yet in 2021, I'm very glad you're here. It's a good day for it. Soften the face, the jaw. So this is also our teeth, our tongue, our throat, again, the ears, neck, tonsils, if you still got them. And the thyroid, and culturally speaking, we've got a lot of thyroid imbalance, which may be related to truth, expression, communication. This is, again, being in our truth. So telling lies, that's one of the, very challenging piece of this chakra. So one of the quickest ways to heal this chakra is to just, be true, tell the truth. And like I said, sound is very helpful too. Deep, deep breath in. Exhale with some sound. And then take your time to come up. So this will sort of be my last invitation to do any kind of movement. The next 2 poses will be a little bit more restorative style as we move into the 6th and 7th chakra. So take your time, move, shift. And for the 6th chakra, I'm going to ask us to come into a reclining butterfly. And I would like to ask you to cover your eyes. So if you need to get a sleeve or a clean pair of socks or a washcloth or a t-shirt, that's fine. And then I want you to get your pillow, bolster, whatever you were using to twist over, lie that down towards the back of the mat. And then you'll sit up against it, and definitely will support the thighs. So this kind of is going to bring the chakras together, and we're going to focus on some visualization for the 6th chakra. So you can support the thighs, feet together. You can also put pillows or towels. And then when you lie back, we want to feel the heart opening. But when you lie back, if it feels like your head or your shoulders are getting stuck, sometimes we just need to prop up the prop. So put a book or another pillow or something under the top. And it's gonna make this little slope, and that's just gonna make it a little bit easier. So take a moment, and it's okay if you don't have the same thing under each thigh, as long as it's about the similar height. That's really what's gonna matter. And then, like I said, I would really, really love if you would cover your eyes, since this is technically the 6th chakra pose. This is a pose that could be the whole system. The spine is at this beautiful angle, so the energy is flowing up and down. It's a heart opener, it's a hip opener, the belly's opening. So this is definitely a pose that sort of aligns the whole body, especially after doing all those other poses. Should be really nice to settle here for a few minutes. And then, like I said, you cover the eyes. So the 6th chakra, the Agnya chakra, our vision, our perception, our intuition. This is the 3rd eye, which the psychic eye, the intuitive eye, but also our physical eyes. The pineal gland, the front of the brain, which is the primal command center of the brain. And so let yourself settle here into as decadent a reclining butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana as you can. And just feel into that breath, that spinal awareness, maybe just noticing how the body's feeling. And so for the 6th chakra, the main tools are visualization, which we're going to play with. And then also natural light or natural dark. So one of the best things for the 6th chakra is to go out and gaze at the stars or the moon or at a horizon that doesn't have light pollution. Covering the eyes is really helpful. Sleeping in full darkness. When we cover the eyes, we actually support our melatonin production, which has a lot to do with our sleep rhythms. And this is our perception. And sometimes we're so inundated, the eyes take in more than we ever could possibly fathom. Just having this gentle weight on the eyes closed, to letting the body settle. This will reset our perception and suddenly the world will look a little bit different. And so as you settle into that space, just let the body relax and focus at that space between the eyebrows, the Agnya chakra, the command center. This is the indigo chakra of light. So chromotherapy, which is color therapy, connects to this chakra. And I'm just going to call out some images that will, again, help to build the skill of visualization, but will also benefit the chakra system. So just taking a few breaths, letting the body stay completely relaxed as much as you can, adjusting whenever you need to. Just focus at imagining a dark space at the eyebrow center, that space between the eyebrows. Almost like a theater, right? Like back when we used to go to the movies, before the movie would start, before the previews would start, just this dark screen. And just this dark screen at the space between the eyebrows. And then imagine a juicy red apple. A juicy red apple. And then fresh squeezed orange juice. Fresh squeezed orange juice. A sunflower. A sunflower. Green leaves blowing in the wind. Green leaves blowing in the wind. Dancing blue butterflies. Dancing blue butterflies. The night sky with a crescent moon. The night sky with a crescent moon. Sparkling white crystal. Sparkling white crystal. And allow yourself to focus on this sparkling white crystal light. And this crystal light begins to dance and it pulses between white and violet. White and violet. And it almost feels like this crystal light pours over you like a waterfall. This white, sparkling crystal light, this violet amethyst light. As though at the crown of your head, this fountain, this waterfall pours over you. And as the white light, the violet light dances over you, it begins to shimmer in rainbow hues. And without having attachment to these rainbow hues, just allow yourself to be bathed in rainbow light. Maybe one color jumps out, or maybe it's just a shimmering, sparkling flow from your crown down, cascading through the body. And you just relax deeper and deeper in this sparkling rainbow fountain. You continue to be bathed in this light. And it washes through all your centers. Crystal rainbow light. And the rainbow colors begin to seal into the body absorbing all the nourishment of light and energy. As you again sense the breath as it moves up and down the spine. In some traditions, the chakras are called the rainbow bridge. The spine is the rainbow bridge, bridging the material to the spiritual. Let yourself settle into the support of the earth, feeling the connection and awareness of all of your potent wheels of light. Take a deep breath in, draw the breath all the way up to the crown and hold the energy at the crown. And then open mouth, let it go. So you are always welcome to stay longer in relaxation. We are going to take a few minutes in seated meditation, sort of officially for the crown chakra. But if you want to stay here, just stay connected to the crown. Otherwise, you can draw the knees in or extend the legs, bring back any movement. And then if and when you choose, you can bring yourself to sit. And sitting may be accompanied by a little bit of movement. Hopefully we're sitting a little bit taller, more connected, more present. We do want to still feel the energy at the crown. So the crown chakra, the Sahasrara. And the primary practice of the crown chakra is meditation. And in some traditions, prayer and meditation. So prayer is when we ask spirit for guidance, and then meditation is when we listen to the answer. So again, that reciprocal relationship with spirit. So again, you can imagine crystal light, violet light, 1,000-petaled lotus as you sit tall, as you soften. And this is the chakra of inspiration. This is the chakra of liberation. This can also be the chakra of oppression and attachment, especially to spiritual ideals. And this is a practice of discernment and exploration. And every time we enter our chakra system consciously, it is a ceremony, it is a ritual of realigning ourselves to our deeper selves, our energetic layers, activating our full potential and helping to clear out outdated programming. And sitting with the energy at the crown, we open to the possibility, to the potentials, we open to the limitless universe and cosmos and connection to higher power, whatever that is for you. And if you have a relationship with higher power, be it nature or again, a connection to a religious path, maybe just say hi in this chakra, make that conscious contact. And all the chakras are connected with sound. The sound of the seventh chakra is the sound of Om. So that's one of the many reasons we work with the sound of Om in yoga practice. It connects us to the higher consciousness, the universal consciousness. So to close our yin yoga practice for the chakras, we will tone the sound Om 3 times. If you're not comfortable chanting, you can just listen or hum, or just again, imagine that white or violet light at the crown. Take a deep breath in. And on the next inhale, you can bring your hands to your heart or place them on the body in a way that feels powerful to you. Honor yourself for tuning into this practice. May this practice support you and your own energetic reset, and may it extend out and support the energetic reset of all beings and the world at this time, the highest potential for all beings, for all life everywhere. Thank you for practicing tonight. I bow to you. Namaste.